Hey, it's Adam. I wanted to bring a quick tutorial today on modified chatarangas. We have the potential to do these quite a bit in our practices and our movement practices. So knowing the options that you have, the modifications that you can take, will help you build the strength to add on to your chatarangas one day if that's your practice. So let's get started on our hands and knees. So it's finding a neutral spine, shoulders on top of the wrists, hips on top of the knees. And we'll start by rocking the weight side to side. So a couple things we're doing as we're rocking the weight side to side. One, we're starting to feel how the wrists and shoulders are feeling today, which is a big part of our chatarangas. But also we're starting to get some activeness into the fingers. So as you're rocking the weight side to side, whatever weight whatever side the weight comes to, press into those fingers and push to the other side. All right, so moving to the right, squeeze my right fingers into the mat and push to the left. Transfer the weight to my left, squeeze my left fingers, push to the right. And we'll just do that a couple times, just back and forth. Left finger squeeze and push to the right. Right finger squeeze and push back to the left. Just starting to feel activeness underneath the hands. Nice job. And through this, we're also warming up through the wrists and shoulders. Let's take one more pass on each side. Just move to the left, then push to the right. And we'll meet back at center. All right, now pressing all 10 fingers into the mat. Press into the hands, navel pulls into the spine, so you're starting to engage the core, and you feel your upper back start to open up. So right between the shoulder blades, you feel that space between the shoulder blades start to widen. All right, now that's the openness we want to try to keep here. A lot of times in our chatarangas when we're learning, we'll sink down and we'll kind of collapse in between the shoulder blades and bring the shoulder blades, the scapulas together. So we want to try and stay as lifted as we can out of here for a proper alignment. All right. Now keeping that pressure into the hands, navel pulls into the spine, we're going to curl the toes, lift the hips, and find our way into our downward dog today. So downward dog we're going to use as a reset position. So coming back to our downward dogs to reset in between our chatarangas. So from here, feet are hip distance apart, hands spread out shoulder width. All 10 fingers are pressing into the mat just like we were practicing earlier. And then we'll pedal the feet left and right. So little pedaling of the feet, straightening the left, bending the right, straightening the right, bending the left. Nice. Take a deep breath into the nose. Exhale through the nose. Now, first off, we're going to come forward into a high plank. So hinge forward into your high plank, shoulders on top of the wrists, and then drop the knees to the mat. So your knees could land right underneath the hips or a little bit farther behind your hips, but try not to let them come more towards your abdomen. Try to let them go more back behind your hips. All right? Now, from here, elbows squeeze in. Now pull your elbows in, spin the eyes of the elbows forward. Now we're finding that nice proudness through the shoulders. Navel pulls into the spine, gaze shifts forward. All right, now keep the elbows squeezing in next to the ribs, and on your exhale, we're gonna slowly lower to where the shoulders are in line with our elbows. And pause here, squeeze your fingers. Nice, press the hips back, take an inhale. And on the exhale, press back up. Nice job. Maybe press back towards the hips, release any pressure into the shoulders. Now we do one more like that. Come forward first. Knees are on the mat. Shoulders on top of the wrists, maybe a little in front of. Elbows stacked right on top of the wrists. Elbows squeeze in next to your ribs. Take an inhale. And on the exhale, slowly lower down. Keep the gaze forward. Shoulders, elbows in line. Pause here. Hold for the breath. Squeeze your elbows in. Then slowly press back up. And then sit back, hips to heels. Nice. Release the pressure in the shoulders. So that's starting to understand where our body needs to come down to. That halfway mark, the engagement of the shoulders. Now on the inhale, come forward, and we'll find that modified high plank again. Shoulders on top of the wrists, elbows squeeze in next to the ribs, navel into your spine. Nice, gaze forward, take a breath. Now this time on the exhale, we're gonna lower all the way down to our bellies. Chin and chest come down to the mat. Hands stay underneath the shoulders. Untuck the toes so the toes are flat on the mat. And then press into the tops of the feet so the knees slightly lift. Elbows roll in towards the side body. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Press your hands into the mat. Press your toes into the mat. And on the next inhale, slowly lift. Lift the torso. Squeeze your shoulders. Take a breath. And then gently bring your chin back to the mat. Now do that a couple more times. Feel the engagement of your lower back as you lift up. Press your hands into the mat, engage your glutes, press your toes down. Inhale, lift the chest. Hold for the breath. And on the exhale, come back down. I'm going to do that one more time. This is our low cobra pose. Elbows squeeze in next to the ribs. Press your toes into the mat. Inhale, lift your chest. And exhale, lower, chin back down to the mat. All right, now curl our toes. Press into your hands. Press back up to your hands and knees. And then keep moving into your downward dog. Toes are curled under. We lift the hips. And we pedal it left and right. All right, so those were a couple different versions of our modified chaturangas broken down. So we're going to move through that in a little more fluid of a pace. So listen to your body, listen to your practice. Inhale, come forward, high plank. Drop the knees. Spin the eyes of the elbows forward, take an inhale. And on the exhale, lower all the way down, chin and chest to the mat. Tops of the feet press into the mat, lift the knees, inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, chin and chest come back to the mat. Curl the toes, press back up to hands and knees, and then making our way into our downward dog. All right, so we'll do that one more time, and then we'll go through a more full version of Chaturanga. Inhale, hinge forward, high plank. Drop the knees. Spin the eyes of the elbows forward, take a breath. Exhale, lower all the way down. Stay strong through the torso, untuck the toes. Inhale, low cobra, lift the chest. Exhale, chin back to the mat. Press back to hands and knees. Curl the toes, downward dog. Nice job. Now that's our modified Chaturanga. And that can be a version that you take at any point in time in your practice. Also, skipping Chaturangas is a very nice addition. All right, now going through a full Chaturanga this time. Now coming forward into our high planks. This time we're going to keep the knees lifted. Still finding that strength in between the shoulder blades. Up onto my tippy toes. Now my inhale, I'm going to hinge forward, shoulders past the wrists, elbows still stay squeezed in next to the ribs, and on the exhale, lower halfway down. Shoulders, elbows in line. So our low plank here. Now instead of coming all the way down, we're going to untuck the toes, come to the tops of the feet, and move into an upward dog. The upward dog, pressing into the tops of the feet, roll the shoulders down and back, push the chest through. Take an inhale. On the exhale, bend the knees, curl over the toes, one at a time, press back to your downward dog. And that's our more full version of Chaturanga. We're going to go through that a couple more times. Inhale, hinge forward, high plank. Find that pause. Elbow squeeze in next to the ribs. Exhale, lower, low plank. Hold for the breath. Curl over the toes. Inhale, lift the chest, upward dog. Downward dog on the exhale. Okay, so we're going to go through two versions of our Chaturangas, one breath, one movement. I'll go through a modified first with you, and I'll go through a full second. All right, so moving with your version of breath. All right, inhale, hinge forward, high plank. Lower the knees on the exhale. Spin the eyes, elbows forward, take a breath. And on the exhale, lower all the way down, chin and chest to the mat. Untuck the toes, inhale, low cobra, lift the chest. Exhale, lower chin and chest down. Curl the toes, inhale, press back up the hands and knees, and then continue all the way back into your downward dog. Nice job, big breath in. Exhale. All right, now the more full version of Chaturanga. Inhale, hinge forward, high plank. Pause for the exhale. Breath in. Elbows squeeze the ribs as we lower halfway down. Pause here, squeeze the fingertips. Inhale, upward dog. Downward dog on the exhale. Nice job, walk it out. Little left and right. Big breath in. Big exhale. All right, let's come back down to our knees. All right, sit back on the heels, ball up the fists, rock out the wrists. We just did a lot for the wrists. And then we'll take a shoulder rinse as well. Interlace the hands at our lower back. Knuckles draw together. Draw the knuckles down towards the arches of the feet. Bring the shoulder blades together behind you. Maybe start to lift the gaze towards the ceiling. Draw the knuckles down. Take another breath. And slowly release. Hands come back to the tops of the thighs. All right, thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, just a quick one today. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments or hit me up. Love you guys. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.